You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. The Glebe Central Pub is your neighborhood pub in the heart of the Glebe. Go check them out at 779 Bank Street and make sure you're there Friday to celebrate St. Paddy's Day. Live music from 1:30 to midnight. Doors open at 10 a.m. That's the Glebe Central Pub. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Pillar as always, and we have the entire Postcast crew with us. At Lalims Martian is here, wrapping up a 6-3 loss to the Edmonton Oilers. The Sens finish off this road trip 1 win, 4 losses. Pilsy, how did you see this one develop?
Ross, unfortunately, this developed exactly like I predicted, and we knew it was going to be a high-scoring game. You knew the Oilers were going to come out with a lot of goals, which they did. Connor McDavid, to get 1 point on FanDuel, was minus 1,000. Minus 1,000. Like, that is absolutely insane. And, of course, he gets 2 points in this one. So, yeah, to answer your question, Ross, unfortunately, sometimes I'm right. I tried to mush the Sens by betting on mush the Oilers by betting on the Oilers, but
you're only a Sens mush, Pilsy.
I know.
You only know how to mush the Sens. You're the Sens mush god, I called you earlier.
Accurate as well, but unfortunately, that doesn't work, and the Oilers do exactly what we anticipated here.
The goal going into tonight, if you listen to today's Locked On Senators, was meaningful third period. We were 0.4 seconds away from that. Nick Bjugstad scores just ahead of the buzzer in the second period. Martian, you said that was really lights, camera, and cut scene.
Yeah, for me, that was a complete game ender. It was a backbreaker. Like, if you didn't go to bed already at that point, then that was the time to go to bed, because you could pretty much see watching this game that when that goal happened and there was no time left on the clock, and you got basically 3 Senators out there who have essentially given up on the period because they think it's just going to end. The Oilers had the puck in their own end with 7 seconds left in the period, and they somehow worked their way up the ice and managed to score a goal. And that's not a testament to the Oilers just being a good hockey team. It was Nick Bjugstad who ended up scoring the goal. But you've got a couple guys on the ice there for the Sens who just, they fell asleep at the end. They just thought the clock was going to run out, and they didn't give it to the end of the period. And that's the kind of thing that's really frustrating to see. And it's not the type of guy you would expect it to be either, because Claude Giroux is one of them. He had Bjugstad. Like, that was his man. He could have stayed with him, and he would have prevented the goal if he had. And then you have Eric Brandstrom out there, and he's kind of a little bit – I know what he's thinking too. Like, he's trying to just, like, disrupt the play and then the period's over, but he cheats over to the right side way too far, and he allows that lane to happen to lead to the goal. So, I mean, the boys just didn't finish the period, and that's frustrating as hell.
That's a 3-goal second period for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the power play 5 minutes into the second period. At the time, 2-2. We'll get to the scoring summary, but once Draisaitl scored from wide open in the slot, great work from McDavid. Their 73rd assist is ridiculous. Would lead the Sens in points with just his assists. And then Nick Bjugstad, like you mentioned, Martian, that really just felt so deflating. Tim Stützle made it. No, I'm not even going to say the word interesting. It wasn't. It was still a 2-goal game. And despite a bunch of chances for Ottawa, when it became a 2-goal game, the empty netter from Connor McDavid seals it right up. Now, the power play did score in the first period for Ottawa. Brady Tkachuk deflects it off a skate and in. You kind of knew that's how an 0-for-20 streak would end. But man, DJ Smith said, and Brady Tkachuk said, that when they got one, it would explode, and that is not how it went in the third period, eh, Pills?
No, it certainly isn't. I mean, Ross, I set the bar today. My keys to improvement, not keys to victory, was just gain momentum on the power play. And you know what? I thought the power play looked a lot better than it has recently. But keep in mind, that is a low bar, as the power play was god-awful recently. But they get a power play goal, and Ross, no shorthanded goal allowed tonight. The Sens, actually.
Moment of silence.
Okay, all right.
Wow,
but the Sens, in flipping the script, they get a shorthanded goal. Tim Stützle is becoming a major threat shorthanded. And how about Dylan Gambrell with the offensive touch there with the beautiful pass in the 2-on-1? But
That's your
I
guy,
think,
probably.
yeah, Gambrell, that's my guy. But the Ottawa Senators still ultimately, they go 1 for 5 on the power play, which is an improvement. But up against an Edmonton Oilers team where you knew there was going to be trading chances and a lot of goals, you'd hope for a little bit better than 1 for 5 here. So tough.
Yeah, the Sens power play does convert, but now they're 1 for their last 24 on the power play and really didn't gain any momentum that they can bring back home for an extremely tough stretch against Tampa on Thursday and the Maple Leafs in town on Saturday at the Canadian Tire Center. Brady Tkachuk's goal in the power play was assisted by Alex DeBrincat and Jake Sanderson, who replaced an injured Thomas Chabot manning the top unit. We'll get to our Sens Central standouts. No spoilers, but also tonight, Tim Stützle sets a franchise record, tying and then passing Daniel Alfredsson with his 67th and 68th career goals, the most by a Senator in their first 3 NHL seasons. And he did it not even needing half a season. The COVID one was only 56 games. I think that record, it might extend. Does Tim Stützle hit 40 goals this year, Martian?
I think he's got an incredible chance to do it for sure. He only needs 6 more, Ross. And I think a lot of people, if when we drafted Tim Stützle, if you told them, his ceiling is he's a 35 goal guy and he's going to do it one day in the NHL. I think a lot of people would be pretty stoked to have this guy join the team, right? As a 35 goal scorer. Well, he's going to hit 35. I can tell you that. There's no way he goes the rest of the season without scoring one more goal. He'll do that. 40 is 100% in reach. And I don't know how long it's even been since the Sens had an actual 40 goal scorer. It's probably Heatley, no? But I mean, boys, like this guy is legitimate. He is 21 years old and he could possibly hit 40 goals. That is absolutely sickening.
How nasty was it watching him and Sanderson going back and forth on the power play? You're just reliving that 2020 draft, eh, Pills?
Yeah, that was nice to see. And I thought Sanderson had a major impact, being the only change on that top power play unit to start, at least, was Sanderson filling in for Chabot. And I just thought Sandy plays with a little bit more pace, a little more urgency than Thomas Chabot does, while still having that silky smooth skating and the ability to distribute the puck just like Thomas Chabot. So I wouldn't be upset, Martian, if we saw this more often going forward, Sanderson being the top guy on PP1.
Me either. And it kind of seems like, I know they've said Shabbat's day to day, but we probably will see this for a little while here. And I agree with you 100%, Pilsy. And it's the thing about Sanderson is that his feet do not stop moving. I think sometimes Chabot can get caught a little stationary, and he has the skill to be able to get away with that sometimes. But man, Sanderson just provides that extra movement up top that I was talking about last postcast. Is what I thought that the power play needed, was just more movement. And that's the guy for the job. He does a really great job out there.
How about the spinorama at the top of the circle after going all the way up? Looked like he was catching an alley-oop when he brought down a clearing attempt in one of the third period power plays. But story of the night is not being able to capitalize at 5-on-5. Both of Ottawa's goals in this game, the first 2 goals rather, came going to the third period. One shorthanded, one power play, and then Tim Stützle gets that even strength goal. A nice play by Batherson down low to free up that puck and get it to Stützle in the slot. No mistake. Patrick Brown, Martian, your childhood hero, Patrick Brown gets the assist on that one.
I'm only 4 years older than him, but
that you adopted him after his performance against Seattle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I did. I did adopt Patrick Brown. He was getting in there. He was getting in the mix okay a little bit, but I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and pump Patrick Brown's tires after.
Gets an assist tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really go there. I don't know. I don't love it, but
you know who his center was for some of the night was Shane Pinto. Got put down on that line a bit in the third period. You think that was a fair move from DJ?
In the third period when they moved Pinto down?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know, but he was up there with Giroux later in the game, and they had their chances there. So I might have woke him up a little bit. I think maybe it worked. It wasn't. the worst coaching move in the world, that's for sure. But no, I don't know. Pinto has been making, it's a long season for this guy too. He's never played this amount of hockey in his career up until this point, right? Obviously being out last season and then playing in college. So I think the long season might be wearing this guy down a little bit, and he's had tough assignments the entire year as well, right? So you got to give him a break. He's a rookie, but I mean, moving him down and up the lineup, that's just giving him a little kick in the pants, I think. So I don't hate it.
How about the play on Jacob Chikrin? What do you guys think of that? Where Leon Draisaitl and Chikrin are both going towards a puck in the corner, and I mean, he didn't touch it. Is that not interference, boarding? Take your pick.
Well, Pilsy, I don't know if you want to take this one. Go ahead if you do.
I think it's a tough call because both of those players are at the same position battling for the puck. Like for me, that wasn't like Jacob Chikrin's going to get that puck and Draisaitl interferes with him. It's both of them are going at the same time and Draisaitl just puts a heavy shoulder on him. I mean, if you wanted to call that interference, I wouldn't be too upset, but I actually thought they got the call right on that as a Sens hater myself.
Yeah, you were tonight. I mean, my God. So the Ottawa Senators lose 6-3. Coming up, we'll get into our Sens Central standouts. And one note tonight as well, DJ Smith moving into sole possession of second on the Ottawa Senators all-time coaching wins list, passing Paul McLean. They were both tied at 114 games. DJ Smith taking about 40 more games to get there than Paul McLean when he did it in 2015. Jacques Martin, I think your record's safe, pal. He's got a 226 game win lead on most wins for Senators coach in team history. All right, on the other side, Sens Central standouts. We finally have finished our last late night puck drop as well of the Sens season. So stick taps to that. We've got some 7 o'clock starts later on this week, including Hockey Night in Canada against the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, today's episode, all postcasts are brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Let's let you know that the Glebe Central Pub is in for a week. They've got their shuttle on Thursday, and they've got their shuttle on Saturday. But then Friday, Pilsy, could be the big event at the Glebe Central Pub.
Yeah, Ross, I'm jealous I'm not in the Ottawa area to go to the Glebe Central Pub for my 30th birthday on St. Paddy's Day. Martian, I'm looking at the menu here. They got some fun St. Paddy's Day stuff. I'm looking at bangers and mash, so sausage, peas, potato mash, and Guinness gravy and onions. That's a classic pub dish. And then, Ross, I thought of you when I saw this menu item. The beer and a buddy. You get a pint of Harp and a Jameson shot. I've seen you do that move a couple times.
Dangerous thing ever when pubs do that. I love it. I love that play. But like everybody gets their beer and they're happy, and then they go, "Oh, I gotta take this shot too." It's kind of funny.
Jameson's definitely my go-to shot. Martian, what's your go-to shot at the Glebe Central Pub?
You know what? I'm a tequila shot guy. If I'm gonna do a shot, like give me if I'm gonna do a real shot that's not like a Burt Reynolds or something like that, or a polar bear, I'll do a tequila shot.
You would have loved Cabo, I can tell you that.
With a lime?
Yeah, usually, yeah. I can handle it without it, but I want the lime. It's part of the experience.
If you're going tequila at the Glebe Central Pub, maybe ask. Are you allowed to ask for Corona at a pub? Sure. I feel like that might be frowned upon.
If they carry it, they can't give you crap for it.
That's true. Hey, yeah, you don't want it, don't offer it.
It's sitting there for a year. Maybe I'll change my mind.
Yeah.
The Glebe Central Pub is all about making sure that their guests are all happy all the time. Go there for an all Irish food menu on Friday. Check them out. Glebe Central Pub. We love our friends at the Glebe Central Pub. Pilsy, you did well on FanDuel tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, it's with no happiness. Honestly, I honestly mean that my FanDuel account is looking better after the Sens loss, but that's because Martian, when you know, and I knew this Sens team was not up to the task tonight, especially with a couple injuries. The Edmonton Oilers are stacked at home since the start of 2023. So I went to FanDuel and I made an educated guess, hoping that I would actually lose and mush the Oilers and help the Sens, but it didn't work out that way. But The good thing is I did it on the trusted sportsbook partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. That's FanDuel. The app is so easy to get your any live bets in. You can do same game parlays. I actually hit on parlays, plural, if you guys can believe that. And it was all done at the FanDuel Sportsbook app. So check them out today. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and see what offers they have for you. FanDuel, make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Pillsy, right. I have a confession to make as well here. Oh. I also went to FanDuel and I placed a bet for the Edmonton Oilers and the over, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to score, and it hurt me so badly. But
that's smart, though. That's smart.
You got to do out there. We talked about this. Yep. You'll make yourself happy no matter what. If hedging a Sens win with one of their competitors winning, it doesn't feel good. Don't get me wrong. It feels horrible, but sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah.
You also got to do some Sens Central standouts despite the score. Sean, appreciate you, Sean.
Yes, thank you, Sean.
I say Jimmy Stews, eh? And with this game, 6-3 loss to the Edmonton Oilers. Pilsy, where are you going for your first Sens Central standout?
First, do you think we're snapping it around twice on this one, Ross?
If Pilsy takes the low-hanging fruit, then I'm going to scramble to find one. So go ahead, Pils.
I meant the first as the 1, 2, 3.
Okay, good. Because I was like, I better scramble with my second pick here too. Martian, I'm taking that low-hanging fruit. You know I'm a lazy guy. If there's fruit right there, I'll just pick it out. I need to climb the tree. I'm going Tim Stützle, my German guy, up against Leon Draisaitl. This was a battle of the Titans in German hockey. Yeah, I'm calling Tim Stützle the Titan. Mo Seider, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yes, Tim Stützle showed up tonight with 2 goals. Leon Draisaitl also had 2 goals. But I just thought Timmy continues to roll along here. Like, he's been so consistent lately, even with changing line mates, even with his partner in crime, Brady Tkachuk, having a bit of a slump here. That's very uncharacteristic for Brady. Timmy continues to thrive. So I got to give my Sens Central standout to Tim Stützle here.
Yes, and we already mentioned that he made Senators history by getting past Daniel Alfredsson's 68 goals. Tim Stützle, I mean, a superstar, and I feel like Jamie McLennan's bringing it up as often as possible. Heard a couple of superstar references from him tonight. He's up to 73 points on the season, which, as we said, is the same amount as Connor McDavid has assists, and he is the Sens' leading point getter right here. Martian, go ahead, my brother. I'll figure out a third, but I think I know where you're going.
Do you? I don't think you do. I'm taking Pilsy's favorite player, Dylan Gambrell.
Oh,
hey, you know what? There's not very often where we get a chance to praise Dylan Gambrell, and you know what tonight is? It's one of those nights where we get to praise Dylan Gambrell. He played 14 minutes tonight, which is a pretty good amount of time for Dylan Gambrell, if I'm not mistaken. He doesn't usually play that much, and we know DJ loves him, and he loves to talk about the Gambrell line in his post-game conferences. But you know what? That assist to Tim Stützle shorthanded was a hell of a play. That was a great pass, and Dylan Gambrell doesn't make that kind of play very much. So I got to give him a bit of a shine. He was one of the few players who was an even player tonight, so he wasn't costing the team out there. I like Gambrell's game, and you got to give a little bit of credit to him every now and then. I know DJ does it, but we never do. So tonight's the night, and 50% the dot, Pills. So
nice. I was going to finish with that.
I know you're probably going to go there. So just 50% the dot. Nothing good, nothing bad. It's just right down the middle.
And that led all Ottawa Senators in face-off percentage. So that was as good as it was going to get Dylan Gambrell tonight. He got to play on the second line for a bit when Shane Pinto was demoted. If you had Dylan Gambrell playing second line center on your bingo card at the start of this season, congrats to you, because I never would have guessed that.
He also got an assist on one of the Edmonton goals. He was trying to clear it, but he put it right on, I think it was Nugent Hopkins' stick.
We're not worried about that right now.
Don't look at his 5-on-5 shot share either. Then, analytics.
Hey, listen, I've never been a big analytics guy. So
nice.
Do you want me to tell you them just for fun?
They're bad. Man, I just looked at them.
This is like, you're ruining my standout.
Stats are for nerds. I tested it all.
like I said, I was scrambling to find a guy. I took a quick view of the stats. I remembered the shorthanded play. You guys can't give me too hard of a time here, okay? The Sens lost 6-3.
Do you want to know it, though, just for fun? Okay,
people want to know. People want to know.
Your analytic. Do you want shot share or expected goals percentage?
Well, expected goals percentage is going to be horrible, so give me that one.
3%.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
3 of them, though. 3 of those percents.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
And a half. Hey, don't rip
zero.
them off. It was actually 3.5.
Oh, come on, round up for the kid. Give him 4.
Yeah.
You're going to say 3.6.
It's not that funny.
No. Hey, shorthanded, he was a wizard. Shorthanded, he was a wizard. So we'll give him that.
Sorry. Well, maybe it wasn't a great standout.
How about Timmy after Gambrell makes that pass? Timmy gives him one of those reactions like, "Oh my God, Dylan! Yeah. Like you did it."
He was shocked. He's like, "That was a goal for me."
Oh my goodness! Yeah, you're actually leaving me the one I thought you were going to take. I thought there was 2 easy ones, and I'm going to take the.
You didn't think Tim Stützle was the obvious one?
No, I said I thought there were 2 obvious ones. Stützle and Jake Sanderson. Guys, come on.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I could.
Unreal tonight. He played 24-20, most of any Sens defenseman. Now, 6 minutes of it was on the power play, but just smooth, gives confidence, moves the puck quick around the umbrella, and gets an assist as well on the first goal of the game. Yeah, the secondary assist on the Brady Tkachuk goal, and that was just from good puck movement all throughout. And I just loved what I saw from him, and I think that this is only the beginning. Sometimes you forget that he's only 20 years old. And just like we said with Shane Pinto about how he has never played this many games, neither is Jake Sanderson, coming straight from college and now doubling his games played. 62nd game of the season for Jake Sanderson, and now he's up to 26 points, which I believe is sole possession of 4th most by a rookie Senators defenseman. I know that Wade Redden holds that record. And there's a couple other guys. Carlson's right in the mix there as well, but he's certainly climbing it and doing a good job. So obviously you don't want Chabot to be out long, but nice to know that Sanderson is able to step up and take on a number 1 defenseman workload for at least one night here to finish off this disastrous road trip from hell.
Russ, we knew that Jake Sanderson would be able to handle a full season workload the night that you and I sat in my apartment and watched him play 3 games in 1. For UND. Went to what, 8 overtimes?
I think it was 6 maybe.
Oh, maybe 6. Okay, yeah. I'm exaggerating. Let's throw a little sugar on it, but what I mean.
Plus the 3 periods of regulation, though, Martian.
Yeah. So I mean, he played basically 3 games in 1 that night. So you and I know he's a physical specimen, and he's not going to have any issue playing, a lot of minutes or a lot of games.
Yeah, and he's only getting better and better. And this was a bit of a homecoming because Dad's from Edmonton, St. Albert. So I think he had some family in the crowd as well as the night in Calgary. And Scott writes in, when Sandy realizes he can skate his way to anything he wants, he's going to be that much more dangerous. And that goes to with what Grand Forks Herald writer Brad Schlossman told us last year, where it's like, okay, he does the fundamental. He's the classic, don't do the tricks, but learn the trade before you learn the tricks of the trade type thing. Yeah. So that's where he's doing the fundamentals right now. Unreal gap defender, awesome stick. And he even was great defending on McDavid and Draisaitl tonight. So love what I saw from him. And Sugar Ray Emery in the chat points out as well, it's Andre Mazzaro's number 1.
Okay.
Most points by a rookie Senators defenseman. I'm going to get the stat on that, but I'll snap it back over to you, Pilsy.
I ironically, I do have an honorable mention. I wasn't sure if he was going to make it, but Drake Batherson has been playing much better recently. And again, that's kind of one of those low bar comments, as his play was really bad. And asterisk, anytime you get moved on a line with Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle, you better play better. Otherwise, something's wrong with you. So I just wanted to give Drake Batherson an honorable mention shout out here, as I saw a bunch of people in the chat talking about how Batherson had a better game, and just want to answer Sens fans in Van. What are your thoughts on pickled turnip at Shawarma Palace and mixing sweet sauce and garlic? I could get down for that. Anything with garlic, and I love the pickled turnips. A little vinegar and a little crunch in your shawarma wrap. Yeah, I'm down for that.
Real quick, I'm not usually a Shawarma Palace because there's such a nice. I'm a bit of a purist also at times, but if I'm going to a shawarma place I don't recognize that much, I'll go sweet sauce and hot sauce every time.
Nice.
I like to mix the
Sweet
two.
and spicy.
Sweet and spicy. It's the way to go.
And the tahini here, right?
Yeah.
I think that's like, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but is it like sesame sauce kind of thing?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I like the sesame sauce too. Yeah.
Very good. Hey.
You might as well throw all 4 of those sauces on there. Sweet
Sauce it up. Sauce it up. Yeah.
Sauce is never gonna go wrong. It's an explosion of flavor in your mouth.
lot of sauce on this list of rookie defenseman points, and it's Jake Sanderson tied in third with Erik Karlsson, 26 points each right now. Is that a good place to be on a list or what? Tied with Erik Karlsson. Karlsson did it in 60 games, and Jake Sanderson has played 62. So there's the trajectory you're on right now when you're looking at the points by a defenseman with Jake Sanderson. Wade Redden had 30. I think same thing with Stützle being 6 goals away from 40. Jake Sanderson 5 points away from being number 2 on this list.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Andre Mazzaros' 39 points is in jeopardy, but I think Wade Redden might have to sign off on Jake Sanderson passing him here.
Yeah, if you had to bet on one or the other, what would you take? Stützle scoring 40 or Sanderson breaking that number?
I'd probably do a same season parlay at FanDuel.
There you go. Hell
There
yeah.
you go.
Same season parlay.
That's the way to go.
Disclaimer: that is not available at FanDuel, but it'd be fun. I think I'd be under the both camp. I think they both happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to go hot take? Sanderson's what would it be? His 31st point is going to be assisting Stützle's 40th goal.
Ooh.
I love that. Here's one I was just thinking of though. I bet you Sanderson gets 5 more points in the next 5 games.
Whoa.
Well, with no Shabbat and playing top power play, it could happen. Yep.
Yeah, it's like the expanded role thing, right? He jumps in, fills the void, and nobody notices. He just. It's almost like, I hate to say, like almost like you don't miss Shabbat, but in a way you almost don't. But especially the way that they were breaking down the defense by having all the left-handed guys on the left and Chicker not being up, in the top 4 or in the top 4 pairings, however you want to phrase it. For me, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Sanderson can do a lot out there already, and he's just going to keep getting better. So that's cool.
Okay, we've gotten 28 minutes into the show, and this game wasn't won or lost because of goaltending, but the first couple goals were pretty deflating. Like, how do the Senators move forward? We heard Bruce Garriock say that they're going to eventually try to get Marilainen over to help Belleville, who is also on like their 8th string goalie right now.
It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, is that like one of those situations where it's almost like an emergency call over or like call up, or is his season's just like he's
playoffs?
Yeah, they're still playing. So,
yeah.
So is he hurt? Because I saw that he wasn't playing a couple days ago as well.
I think it might be a minor thing, but also their other goalie just came back as well, and he's 24, okay. So I think he might have priority. Yeah, interesting. We'll see what happens there. Pilsy is due for his Finnish scouting trip that he does every season here with the Senators. But
I've been hearing about that trip.
That's AHL stuff, though. Like Levi Marilainen is not going to give me any more confidence than Matt Sogard would. I think if they did, it would have to be a veteran. And I mean, there is precedent, though. Remember, they got old Scotty Gomez to come in and plug a second line center hole for the last 13 games of, I think, the 2016 season. And I don't know, man, because like, what do you do? What do you do going forward with this stretch? Like, I don't think it's good for anybody. And they've been so impressive being able to step up, and like Mando didn't even look out of place against Boston on the second half of back-to-back. But it's just like the players. Maybe that's kind of where we're at in realizing that this is such a young team as we're talking this out, is kind of like they're at this wall where they haven't been here before 65 games into a season. And the goalies, I think it's showing a little bit more now. Tonight was Matt Sogard's 10th start in the NHL this season, 11th game after he came in relief last time when Edmonton was here, but that was only 5 minutes. Like it is a grind. So I'm just hoping that they keep battling until the end. I mean, hopefully the results change a little bit, but yeah, you just hope these lessons and the muscle memory can be kind of carried into next season.
Yeah, if we want to really look at this from like a high level, big picture perspective, like the only thing we ever really asked for going into this season was having meaningful games leading into March. And we're 14 days into March now. And I mean, like it or not, and like, some people may not believe this now at this point with the 3 straight losses like this, but they're playing meaningful games. They still mean something. They can still make it if they really floor it and win a bunch in a row. What did we really think was going to be the end game of this season? We knew they weren't going to win the Stanley Cup. That's a fact. Like I guess you get in, anything can happen. You can say that all you want, but like you got to get in. And this team is close. And next year they're going to be better, guaranteed. And the chances of them making the playoffs, I would say, are pretty good right now. So, if we really want to look at it like that, you can't be too upset. If you're that upset, then you're just being emotional because, you had the hope and we all had the hope. But if I told you back in middle December that this team was going to be, within striking distance of a playoff spot on March 14th, you would have laughed in my face. So we've come a long way. Our expectations always are being adjusted by every time they do well on a stretch. Like, you get that little hope up, but we're still believing. We're still believing out here, right, Bills?
Yeah, I'm still believing because like the math is still there, and we're not math guys, so take that statement with a grain of salt. But the thing is, growth is a slow process sometimes, and if you want proper growth, it takes time. Like, I mean, look at the Leafs. They went from rebuilding to making the playoffs, and what has that done for them? They haven't won a single goddamn round because it all jump started too quickly. Guys got paid too quickly, and there wasn't really that growth process. So I think you have to go through these things. You have to go through failure, and you have to be so close. If you're Brady Kachuk, Thomas Chabot, Tim Stützle, you have to realize how hard it is to get there and what it takes. So I'm okay with the fact that the Ottawa Senators are struggling to stay alive here, but then you consider all the injuries, both veteran goalies out, Josh Norris out, minor injuries sprinkled all over the place. So this team has set themselves up for success. They're just not at a point where they're able to break through such tough adversity quite yet because there's so many other teams battling for that same spot. So I'm okay with where this team is at, honestly.
And the games coming up are still meaningful. The Senators right now sit 6 points behind the New York Islanders with a throng of teams in there. Fair. But they still somewhat, to an extent, control their own destiny if they can step up to the plate at home and then 2 real tough road games. That Pittsburgh game might be the last meaningful one, right? If Pittsburgh's the team at that point that's maybe second, if the Islanders or even Florida, if they can catch up, less likely Florida, but that Penguins game on Tuesday, I believe, in Pittsburgh, that might be
on Monday, Ross,
Monday,
and then
right?
Tuesday, Boston. Yep.
Yikes. That might be the season. But if you can win 2 out of 3 of Tampa, Toronto, and Pittsburgh, and one of them being Pittsburgh, so one of the next 2 at home, you have to at least split the next 2 at home, right?
You have to.
I think for me, home games are must wins. Like those are the ones you have the edge. So the competition is never going to be easy. That's the one place we know that we can get behind them as fans and like try to get them going. And it usually works. And I think they play better at home, obviously. The record basically shows that. But I think home games for me are must wins.
Okay. Well, the home record looks a lot better than the road one this year. 19-12-2 on Canadian Tire Center ice. 14-18-2 outside of it. They're on a 3-game losing streak. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. Final thoughts on this one after a 6-3 loss to the Edmonton Oilers. A great night for German hockey. 2 goals each for Leon Draisaitl and Tim Stützle. Pilsy, what else do you have from this one?
My final thoughts are I can't wait for some home cooking. I mean, if you guys have ever done road trips, sure, it's fun and exciting, and you're like, McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You got to do what you got to do, but you start feeling it. You start missing your own bed. Maybe the hotels, the pillows aren't quite the same. That's why Jacob Bernard Docker brings his own pillow on road trips, because you get grumpy if you don't have the comforts of home. So I am hoping that the comforts of home, some home cooked meals, your own bed, your own commute, your own routine, I'm hoping that will make a big difference for this Ottawa Senators, because this road trip has just been as disappointing as you can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it has been disappointing, and my final thoughts from this one is you kind of just ran into a bit of a wagon there. I think the Sens came out with the right intentions, and they played well to start this game. But I mean, you got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on the other side, and they're gearing up for a big playoff push here. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Oilers end up winning the West, to be honest. Obviously, with the weapons that they have, so that's just a better team on the other side, and you can't be that mad. Even though stakes were high for the Sens, the Oilers weren't going to just let them win. So that's the way she goes.
Good way to get more wins is to score first. The Senators have allowed the first goal in 11 of their last 16 games. That needs to improve at home. What else needs to improve? We'll get into that conversation tomorrow on Locked On Senators. We also have a Sen Central citizen for you. We're going to have a fun conversation for you. Earlier drop tomorrow, but if you've missed any of this week's Locked On Senators, you can find that wherever you download your podcast and available on YouTube. In the meantime, go check us out on social media at Sen Central on Twitter. Martian is at Laleem's Martian. You can also follow the show on Instagram, lockedon.senators, at Laleem's Martian there. And we'll chat tomorrow on Locked On Senators. Let's get some Go Sens go in the chat. Our boy Kevin is here. Kevin, sickest display picture going. Shout out Doodling Daryl. That was awesome to see there. Kevin, appreciate you always bringing some positivity on what is a dark night as a 1-4 5-game road trip wraps up. Next time you'll see the Senators will be on Canadian Tire Center ice. I'd imagine on the game day Thursday, maybe a day off after being away from their families for almost 2 weeks. We'll find out more about that tomorrow. For tonight, we say goodbye. For at Laleem's Martian and Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan, and this has been the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. Go check them out on St. Paddy's Day, the Glebe Central Pub, 779 Bank Street, and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.